Hello everybody, Glitch Reaper here. I'm back for another Lycanites equipment combos, and I thought I'd do something a bit special. I'm gonna revisit one of my old designs, and for that matter, one of them I made pretty much just live in survival. Kinda came together from local available parts, and I just decided that it actually is a really good design overall. It's something that I just kind of had a bit makeshift at the moment, but looking back, this is a pretty awesome weapon. Yeah, that's right. If you recognize this design from my first season of Thaumic Resurgence 2, again, before a whole world collapse caused me to suddenly transition to a second season. uh, yeah. I know I tend to take things a little risky, and that kind of caused me. But, yeah. This is, again, a revisiting of Theurge's Wood? Yeah, I actually name it like that. And the reason why is, well, I'm going to go a little bit of history on this one, because, as you can see, it is somewhat of a dancey design. Okay, maybe I should just go back to rendering in this perspective for a moment. But anyhow, it kind of was because I was combining the ideas behind divine and arcane magic because of thaumaturgy and all sorts of other magic mods that I had in my pack, and I'm going, if I wanted one Lycanite's weapon to represent them all, then this would kind of be it, because we have that aspect of divine power, from, like the power of the sky and of divine essence from the sylphs and from Jinn, and we also have arcane power, which is usually associated with the classical elements like fire, so hence Cinderblade. And the fact that it also kind of goes a little both ways with the spirit world from the Banshee Eye part is really nice. So it just kind of came together as this wacky design. But originally, I just tried to figure out what I could do with the parts, and then it just suddenly hit me that it really was kind of a combination between those kinds of magic. So I decided to use it kind of as my thematic blade for a while. And now I'm actually revisiting the whole thing and going to go over it as I normally do, over the parts that I wound up originally obtaining to get it, and how I ran into them in the first place. And of course, other things about this awesome weapon, and I will do a combat test. The thing is, this is mostly a combat-orientated weapon tool, so that's totally going to be a thing. This is heavily into weaponry. Now, be able to obtain it, you'll be needing a Sylph Wing. And originally I got it in that particular run by going to the Ether. Sylphs will show up in the Ether, but they'll also show up near special structures like guarding strongholds, etc. And I got a Sylph Wing either from the Ether or from the stronghold I was visiting. In fact, I know I got it from both, so I don't know which one I actually put in it. I just know I put in a Sylph Wing from one of the two locations. So that was kind of how that path started out. And this being a base part is really important because you always need to start with one. And it adds both a head and a pommel slot. It also adds the smited status, which means that something will constantly burn unless in water until the status wears off, and as soon as it gets out of the water, it'll reignite. I think it might require sunlight, but I'm not entirely sure if shade actually helps. But the Ether Wave Ring on hit ability, that was something that wasn't there at the time. That was in a later update to Lycanites mobs, so a bit more about updates on Lycanites mobs later, because there's a few things that's kind of changed, and I may want to mention them because it would affect how some of the equipment will work. As for a Jinn Cloud, well, at that time, I was living on a mountain next to the ocean. So I kept climbing the mountain, and therefore there were Jinn up there, because Jinn just exist very high up in the world. They very high altitude, so if you're near a particularly high mountain, you might literally be able to climb up, darn lips, you might be able to literally climb up and find them. I mean, you have other ways of running into Jinn, but either way, they're going to be really high up, and when you fight them, you might get yourself a Jinn Cloud, like I did. It has levitation on impact, and also something that I think wasn't there at the time. All these, like, summons, they came later. So the ability for this to summon Jinn, it would have been nice if I had that at the time, but at least I'd be able to have it now. And this made for a fun design because I could knock enemies into the air and then roast them. So, yeah, thank you, GenCloud. I just also have a general love of being able to put pommels onto Lycanites equipment in general because it adds that little extra kick. And they're always more about good use than anything else. Uh, Now, as for a head part, that's because I was exploring the underground, which is where you're going to be finding banshees, because they specifically tend to be in underground structures, not just around structures and like the sylphs like being, but well, again, sylphs also like the ether, but banshees will also show up in underground structures, and it's often in mine shafts. And it was something like that I ran into a banshee. Actually, it was specifically exploring the stronghold, so I know they can show up there too. So whenever I ran into this, it was a good part, because I'm going, hey, the power of fear. Yeah, scare them away. Make them run from me while I hit them in the back. So that was a good part, and it added a blade part, and I'd had plenty of the other part for bladage before that, so I was literally just waiting for something to give me a blade slot. And this also summons banshees, which, again, is something that wasn't there originally, but is there now, so that'll be nice to see. Something that was there then was the Cinder Blade and its ability to summon cinders. It was one of the first two Lycanite parts that had a summoning ability. The other one was the Remover Wing, because he used to have a pair of very specific weapons that could summon very particular minions, one of which was the Cinderfall Blade, and one of which was the Venom Axe Blade. So you had the, well, Cinderfall Sword, I believe. And he wanted to recreate those with the parts, so he pretty much put most of their abilities into their dedicated part from those mobs. So, if you're fighting cinders, which show up around fire a lot, yeah, you might wind up getting these, so try to be agile and try to grab them before they hit the ground, because you might be saving a part from being roasted in fire, which is very ironic because it's a part made out of living fire. And this thing's abilities, in addition to summoning cinders, it also adds a massive ability to torch things, because you have the ability of setting your target on fire on impact, as well as the ability to create a powerful spread of ember shots. And that's pretty much at will, so this thing is a dangerous part to unleash on your enemies. They will be in for a very bad time very quickly. And yes, as you can imagine, its element is fire. So you'll be charging this thing up with a lot of ember shots. And remember that using charges is a big part of this whole thing. I may have to see if they've all been added soon. I'm actually kind of arranging for showing off what all makes what charge to level it up with, because you can see I've kind of spread this out a bit more. Anyhow, as usual, I'll also assemble it, give it the name of the one I pre-assembled, and then give it a bit of combat testing. Now, this will harvest as a sword, but remember that swords don't actually return much unless it's something that could be returned by hand. So, kind of a special thing about swords. But they can harvest some things really fast, or at least destroy them really fast. So you can, like, chop through cobwebs like crazy, as well as through a lot of plants. So, it's still kind of handy to have a harvest type of Bing sword. It's just not as handy as, like, a true, a tool, so to speak. Anyhow, as usual, you'll also be needing these blocks to be able to take care of this, because you'll be needing a lesser equipment forge, which is made with a crafting table and a wooden axe. You'll be needing a greater equipment forge, which is made from that by adding an iron block to it. And, of course, the master equipment forge is the only one you'll need in the end, because it can handle all the different types of part levels without ever downgrading anything. You take the greater equipment forge and you add a diamond block to it. But you will be wanting another lesser equipment forge, because you'll be wanting the equipment infuser to level things all the way up. It'll be a slow journey, but always worth it. And that's why I show these things at level 3, is it shows you what you're aiming for. This takes a lesser equipment forge and surrounding it with lapis lazuli in the crafting table. Remember, that's 8 pieces of lapis, not just 1, because I always just show it as a reminder. Now, you can also see that it looks fantastic on display in all sorts of ways, of which I do have. So, yes. a very cool design. And of course, time for assembly. We have the Sylph Wing, the Jinn Cloud, the Banshee Eye, and the Cinderblade. I got my original Cinderblade for this probably while I was doing my monk training because it required going through fire. Actual fire. So, therefore, it just kind of, that part kind of came to me. I didn't really go very far from my base at all, so that was insanely handy. I remember whenever I showed this off as one of my first, like, survival assembled weapons to Lycanites, he's like, yep, that's an appropriate name for it, because it's like, what? So it's like, yeah, Theurge, what? Now, I will be going on to a combat run with this, because, again, this thing is pretty much all weaponry. So I'm grabbing some of my foods I already got, finding a good spot to fight, preferably a nice flat space. I'd rather not get too close to that village because what I'm going to face down is incredibly aggressive, and I don't want it to eradicate the village. These guys, however, I have no concern if they happen to get flatlined. So, yeah. If they get crushed, they get crushed. Whatever. It'll be a nice distraction. I will also grab myself a few special fruits. I will grab myself a relic apple. This is from Bobbly Heart Containers. It's like a replacement to the old school Tinker's Construct diamond apple that's often used in the crafting recipes and to give you a boost. Let me see here. I think I want to go full applage here. A golden apple. Yeah, just those two apples. So I'm not really that apple, but we're getting there. Okay, guys, you might be having a very, very severe problem very soon. Still wondering why creative doesn't always get the whole... I come back from creative sometimes whenever I'm doing this, and then some of my bar seems to be degraded. I think it has to do more with reloading the world than that. Okay, you might want to stay lively here. This is going to get a little wicked. Oh, I got some summons here. I have an army. Burn. Of course, Jinn fire their own projectiles, which add levitation. You know, I don't think he really levitated. Oh, and my Banshee showed up. However, I think he was scared of me. I think he was backing off. Ish. Kind of. Not entirely sure. Okay, those are mandrake seeds. I cannot EMC those to let them go. But, yeah. Just out of curiosity. Okay, my armor is already repaired, but that put a beating on my antidote charm. And yeah, I've got a heart amulet loaded up here, because I just decided, why not go in full bore? And it worked out beautifully. So, I just figured out really great gear to take on that new kind of Hydra from. Wondering where it was from? That was the newest addition to Ice and Fire. That was actually their new version of a Hydra. So, you were probably originally thinking I was going to put in a Twilight Hydra, right? And wondering, wait, that's not the color of that spawn egg. Well, now you know why. It's because it's a totally different Hydra that's totally new. And I definitely will be wanting to welcome it into my mob battle soon. I might even have a special edition where I do that as a kind of a quick addition to my scheduled fights, because there's some I've had planned for a while, some that's just kind of whenever the mood strikes me, and this is definitely in celebration of a new Hydra. Like, this is more than just when the mood strikes me. This is kind of like I got to. Of course, I just thrashed it in combat myself, like completely and utterly, with a sword I just assembled. Did I get any drops from it or not? I don't know if I did. Do they always drop their drops, or did I wind up not finding them? Because I did kind of throttle it a bit hard. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, where did I go? Because if that's over there and that's over there, then I need to go... I forget where I went. Oops. That's a slight problem when you're trying to look for mob drops. Oh well. I might find them later. For now, I'll log off and kind of leave the envisioning of the fact that I'm going to be finding that for later. But yeah, the new Hydra does drop some interesting things. I was kind of hoping to grab one, and then I totally seem to have missed where they fell, or if they did fall. Because problem is they're not. It's not really going to be considered like a full boss, even though it's pretty powerful. It's kind of like a. No, they consider it kind of a mini boss. I mean, yeah, Ice and Fire has an interesting concept of what they call a mini boss. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, where did I leave those guys at? Because I kind of was gonna zip over. Oh yeah, I think I went that way, or did I? So I was going towards the area I kind of made as a makeshift arena, and then I decided to do otherwise. Yeah, I went this way. That was... Why is there a sudden lag now when there wasn't before? Oh well. Anyhow, I'll be logging off while I look for the right things, unless I get lucky and find them. Well, it was... Okay, never mind. It was over here. Hello, are there any drops that mysteriously appeared in your area? I think that was just the unluckiest of Hydras. For one thing, got throttled by me, and second was unlucky towards me by giving me nothing. So, yeah, apparently you'll be fighting a lot of Hydras to get their stuff. Okay, maybe I'll show off why that stuff's important later as a special showcase for the Hydra. So, yeah, that didn't turn out like I thought it would. I really thought I'd be grabbing a few Hydra parts to demonstrate, but nope. Hydra wasn't feeling like it. It's going, okay, is it bad enough that you... Oh, oh. I swear, this happens all the time. It really does. I just got throttled by a Roa again. Ah, man. Oh, they... And who knows where it went. Did it take some of my stuff through a wall? Because there was some stuff there and some stuff that was not there. I'm not sure where half my stuff is that I normally put up there. The row is gone. It completely got away scot-free. Yeah, see, this is my problem with my positioning of this, is that sometimes a Roa will show up and its water vortex can actually... Oh, wait, there's more of the things. Its water vortex can actually, like, knock off item frames. So, it can be very debil... Oh, there's the rest of it. There's the rest of it. Okay, whew. That was weird. But yeah, just a quick doing here before I get off. A little demonstration of what I normally have to go through. And did I accidentally... Oh yeah, I'm still in creative mode. That's right. Okay, a little demonstration of what I often have to go through is that I often have to restore my item frames and possibly other stuff because a Roa will occasionally come by and just totally and utterly knock my stuff off in the most annoying way possible. So, yeah, this happens to me pretty often back here. So here's just a little behind the scenes. Totally unscripted, because I can never predict when a Roa will show up. And they are very annoying every time, so I'd rather them not do this, but it's something that they do. So, Lycanite, consider that my something I might be throwing in the salt section of your Discord sometime is rows keep knocking off my item frames whenever I'm doing my demonstrations. Okay, so that happened again. This time live. I don't know if anybody caught it on camera or if it just happened while I was flying over, but oh well, you get the point. It's something that I keep having to deal with. Anyhow, this has been Theurge's Woot Revisited, and I'll be logging off for now, so hope to hear from you all later, and bye for now, everybody.